Welcome in to another episode of the My Two Bits Gators Football Podcast. We may need to start calling this Gators Football Anonymous instead. Oh, man. I'm one of your hosts, Ben, joined as always by my other host, Mr. Randy. Randy, how we feeling, bud?
Hi, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Randy, and I am a Florida Gator football fan.
That is the correct intro.
Oh, B.
Well done,
Oh,
sir.
hey. Oh, it's you. Oh, sorry, wrong Zoom meeting. I apologize. I apologize. What's going on, man? What's going on? I'm
Yeah,
here.
man.
I'm here.
Here we are again with our what's probably soon to be weekly therapy sessions. Hope everybody
Yes.
joining us feels the same, or probably feels the same. Maybe I don't hope they do, but yeah, we're back at it. We're gonna get through this thing one week at a time as we go through this season, and we'll talk about it. We'll work it out, and we'll go through our points and hopefully find some solace somewhere in the review of the film and everything that we look at here. Because man, this is a tough pill to swallow. So with that, we will be doing our review of USF tonight. Gross. And as always, we'll walk through here in the beginning our intro, our mission, our accuracy disclaimer, our vision, and our agenda. So this is our set agenda, if you will, for these type of pods during the season. So our mission is to provide factual analysis of all things Florida Gator football. Our accuracy disclaimer is that our information will be accurate to the best of our possible ability. We will cite our sources whenever we use them, and all statistical data comes from either ESPN or stats.ncaa.org unless otherwise noted, and recruiting data comes from on3.com. Our vision is to have unfiltered conversation around the product on the field, such that it is, as well as recruiting and overall coaching decisions. Our analysis will be based on review of film, and while that we will express opinion, that opinion should always be based in some form of fact. We will also evaluate strategy and tactics and discuss our observation of player personnel decisions as well as on the field execution. So our agenda, of course, is going to be going through, starting off with our exciting plays, such as they were, in our Oh My section. We'll then review the offense, or lack thereof, in the Chomp segment. Gator bait and go through the defense. We'll then do our visor throw. I wonder what that's going to look like tonight, where we talk about our gripes from the game, our complaints. Probably going to be a couple there. We'll then talk hatchlings and go over recruiting and what's going on there. Probably not good things. I'll stop at the commentary here. Then we'll talk about culture in Pride of the Sunshine segment. Then officiating. That should be interesting tonight. When Move Back, You Suck. And lastly, we'll wrap things up, kind of give a brief summary of where we think the team is and where we go from here moving forward. And then, of course, play Keep It or Pitch It and review our sim results from NCAA 26, which, of course, was grossly inaccurate in regards to the results of the game, but was not inaccurate in results to the key stat of the game. So I'll bring that up when we get there. But from there, yeah, we'll kind of tie it all up and sign things off. So with that, let's get started. Try to start things off on a positive note, no matter what the week looked like. We'll give it a shot, right? It's therapy. So we'll talk about the exciting plays. Give me your home my's from last Saturday.
I'll do my best and get through this as chipper as I can. I don't want to sound like Ben Stein. This is not a Visine commercial. No. So this is going to be tough, but I actually had 4. I narrowed them down to 3. Again, I'm not cheating this season, folks. I did have a tendency in the past, I admit, to try and sneak in an extra player there. But the first one on the list is going to be VB3, 40-yard punt return. He's exciting. He's provocative. He's got wheels. He is VB3. He's a game changer in every way, and that punt return was just a small example subsect of what he can do. He's really good with picking his lanes. He's got a very super fast so you've got 2 things in players that are fast, right? You've got quickness and fast, and he's a nice combination of both, especially when he puts that first step into the ground. He makes up his mind which way he's going, and he can still be very shifty as well. So VB3, 40-yard punt return, awesome. Second play, Lagway, quick slant to Trey for touchdown in the fourth quarter with 12 minutes and change left to go in the fourth quarter, which was our first touchdown of the game.
Yep. This is the
$12.29.
this is the oh my segment.
12:29 in the fourth.
Yep.
Um, I will say this: in short yardage situations, in a couple of second and shorts and whatnot, I get it. We have this thing called the wrecking ball, but where's that quick slant? Anywhere else?
Yep.
Where was it? Okay. The rhythm, the timing, the throw, the window was very good. Trey did not have to stretch forward, lean back. It was just right there as Lagway had a nice touch on it for the sidearm. So there you go. Quick slant to Trey. Touchdown. Yay. And the last one, which, hey, I'm trying, B. I'm trying.
I know you are. I know you are. It's like pulling teeth doing this tonight, but I get you.
Right?
I get you.
The last one I will say that did get me off the couch a little bit. 6:56 left to go in the third quarter. Our very own wrecking ball. 3 stiff arms.
Yeah.
One at the line of scrimmage, one 2 yards after the line of scrimmage, and the very last one 4 yards after the line of scrimmage. Got the first down, got hit out of bounds. Got hit as he was going out of bounds. But either way, we've seen a stiff arm or 2 out of him. I've never seen 3 stiff arms on one run in that fashion. Holy smokes, Jaden Baugh, get him the ball more and more and more. So those are my exciting plays, B. What do you have?
Yeah, so it's funny. So for those who might be new to listening to the pod, if there are any out there, we do not talk about this stuff beforehand. We have the agenda, we have it set, and then we pick the plays that we like. Now, I will tell you, obviously, we have the whole game to go through, and certainly it makes sense to me that we align on some of this stuff some of the time. But it's remarkable to me that some of these things that come together. So I don't have all 3 the same, but 2 of the 3 are the same. So
Okay.
I'll start with the first one that's different. And again, we do not compare these notes beforehand, so it's just kind of remarkable sometimes. So the first one I have, it may not seem like an oh my, but I had to call it out because I've seen this play before, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. So it was the throwback screen to Jacoby in the third quarter for a 20-yard plus gain. Actually came right before the ball run.
Oh, yeah.
We have attempted this play multiple times prior. So what happens is we basically make it look like it's a play or a screen that's going to go to the right, and then it actually is a throwback to the left, so it's a misdirection. We have attempted this play multiple times. It has never worked. I'm actually not sure it's ever gone for positive yardage. It has never been executed properly. Well, we got it right on Saturday, and it was nice to see that it was executed right. It was blocked beautifully, and that's how it's supposed to look. The whole team flowed the right way. The offensive line flowed to the right, and then it was a throwback to the left, and Jackson was wide open with good blocking downfield, and he took it for a very sizable gain. That was nice to see. It was really great, and it was a solid gain and really started the drive off nice. We were deep in their territory, or in our territory, and really got it out nicely. Then, number 2, to your point, was the triple stiff arm. Absolutely unbelievable. Baugh had several great runs in this game. Should have had more. We'll get to that later. But outstanding run here. Guy comes in behind the line, poorly blocked by it's either Livingston or Hansen. I can't remember. Tight end missed the block. And guy gets into the backfield, and he stiff arms it. Okay, Baugh's capable of that. Then the next guy comes downfield, linebacker, stiff arms him. Wow, pretty impressive. Then the third guy comes down the field and Baugh stiff arms him. I mean, just amazing stuff what he is capable of. And if he hadn't stepped on the line right there, just barely out of bounds, he'd have gone for another 10 yards on that run. Just incredible. The kid is special. You know, I made a comment the other night when they showed Saquon Barkley squatting 585 pounds on Thursday Night Football to open the season. And I'm like, lightweight, because Baugh put up over 600 in the offseason. So... And he's 19. He's 19. Are you kidding me? Like, exactly. And he might be 20. I don't know when his birthday is, but still ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What were you going to say?
In addition to the yardage, you probably could have had a 4th stiff arm.
You're not wrong. He probably could
just
have.
Saying.
I mean,
just saying.
He is ridiculous. All night he wouldn't go down, right? Multiple different times. I absolutely love it. We need to see more of him. Napier was asked if he was going to get more of the carries moving forward. Of course, the answer is no. They're going to continue to rotate the backs. You know, typical. Don't even get me started. You're going to hear about it later. We'll move on.
There's time
Again,
for it. There's time for it.
This is oh my. So we'll stick to the positive stuff. Last one I
There you
have
go.
is the VB3 punt return, as you might imagine. Now this one obviously is a no-brainer for oh my. Great decision. I will say this. Great decision to make him re-kick this right after the 5-yard penalty to give him another shot at actually returning one. That is a smart coaching choice. I will give credit where credit's due. That was a good call. I will. That was a smart coaching choice. I think it was, one of 3 on the night. And that was really, really good. Vernell continues to show great vision. As you mentioned, he has quickness and speed, and he has that dynamic. So this was something that Percy had, and I'm not calling him Percy by any stretch of the imagination, but he has the dynamic ability to change direction at speed. He doesn't slow down when he changes direction, and significantly changes direction, not just a little cut. Really, really cool to see that, because that is hard to stop. When he gets going, very, very difficult to slow him down, or certainly to stop him. And one other thing during this game, you saw outstanding decision making from him of when to catch it and run, when to fair catch it, right, when to let it go. He about played it perfectly. That's a heck of an asset to have in a true freshman. That's heady football. Often not something you have in a true freshman punt returner. So really good to see that as well. So that will wrap up the oh my's. We will move on from the positive things to something quite a bit more negative, quite frankly, and that's where we're going to talk about the offense in the Chomp segment. So, as always, we'll get things started here with our QB rating and our yards per carry. For those that don't know, we use the NFL QB rating. We find it to be more consistent, less variability in it, and it is a scale of 0 to 158.3, where anything over 100 is good. And really, I'd say it's not really good, but it's very much above average if you're over 100. So Lagway's rating in this game, last week he was like a 140 or something like that, just so you know. This week he's an 85.67. So below 100. So I can't call it good. It's average, right? 85.67, right in the middle of the range. It's an average rating. And our yards per carry, perhaps more disappointing, was only 4.29. That's pretty low versus a group of 5 opponent, I would say. O-line did not consistently block well, though I would also put some blame on this on the play calling and when it was called. It wasn't so much the choice of run or pass, it was when it was run or pass. And again, we'll kind of get into this more as we go through. So to start off with, I will try to start with the only positive on the night that I really saw, and I mentioned this when we did the reaction. I did see Trey running routes. I did not see Trey used only as a gadget guy, right? He was running real routes out there and generated 4 explosive passing plays, not him solely, but we generated 4 explosive passing plays in the passing game, despite them taking away our deep shots, right? Because as we know with Napier's offense, when you only send 1 or 2 guys deep ever, you can take that stuff away if you want to as a defense, which they did, right? Which most teams have been doing, even dating back to last season, by the way. You go back and watch the tape, didn't get a whole lot of deep shots versus FSU or Tulane. Really didn't. Not a whole lot of air yards on the ball. But we still had explosive plays in the passing game of 28, 24, 26, and 32 to 4 different receivers. So that's where the positives stop for me for offense. First and foremost, the O-line. The issues continue here, especially on the right side. There was actually a run that I went back and watched because it was to the left and it got blown up. And I was like, what happened here? Because left side is usually pretty solid. Well, turns out this was a kind of a stretch play. It was a left side zone. And so the whole line moved to the left. And the backside, being the right side, got blown up, and the guy came down the line and made the tackle. So even though it was a run to the left, it got blown up by the right side of the line, not holding their blocks. So ultimately, the right side of the line's got a lot of issues, whether it's run blocking, pass blocking. Pass blocking actually was a hair better in this game. Lagway was not under pressure a whole lot. So pass blocking was actually better than what we saw last week. Run blocking was not consistently anyway. We did see it be obviously decent at times, but it was not consistently very good. So that's really a concern. Obviously, you're going up against a much, much better defensive opponent this week in LSU at Death Valley at night. Good luck. it better be better, or we're going to get run out of there and they might call the game in the third quarter or something. Because it's going to be ridiculous. I know, obviously, that's not a thing we do. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it could get ugly, quite frankly, if we can't run block better than that. So I'll leave that there as it relates to the O-line. Lagway still does not look comfortable. Still looks like a guy who didn't get a lot of practice in the offseason. What's weird to me, though, is he had all the offseason practice the year before and a full season in the offense, and we didn't see this out of him last year. I think this more relates to the fact that teams are taking away what he wants to do with the deep ball, as I already mentioned, and he's being forced to go to different reads because he tends to read the field deep first and then come back down. We've seen that, right? We've seen him have a propensity to throw that deep ball quickly and often. And when that's being taken away very clearly early on, he's having to adjust. I don't think he's doing a poor job at that, but it's not his comfort zone. He hasn't become fully comfortable with that yet. And I think that's a lot of what you're seeing in his uncomfortability, both with throws in the pocket, right? All of these things that we've kind of seen on film these first 2 weeks, where he really just hasn't looked exactly like what we saw him look like last season, right? I also think the play calling did not do him any favors in this game. I think there were a lot of opportunities to work the middle of the field in like the 20-yard range. If you look, that part of the field was wide open consistently, and we just weren't calling stuff there. And what's weird is we typically do call stuff there, right? A lot of the flood concepts usually have a guy going over the middle in about that range on the field. And we weren't calling those plays consistently. We called a few of them, right? VB3 caught a nice one over the middle and went for a solid gain there. But we just didn't call as many of them. I don't know why. Because one of the things Napier typically does is call the same stuff over and over again, right? Well, he did that to a degree, but just not those plays. Really don't know why. Ton of 12 personnel in this game, by the way, too. I don't have the percentages, but way more 12 personnel than what we had been seeing. No idea why we were seeing that. No idea. Really not sure why we didn't have, that normal mix of probably like 60, 40, 11, maybe even 65, 35, 11 to 12. Like this was close to 50, 50. Like there was a ton of 12. Again, don't have an explanation for you as to why. Maybe something they saw with the matchups they thought worked. Clearly they were wrong. Couldn't tell you. Really weird. Don't have an explanation for it, but it looked bad. Third down. Randy called this out in our reaction pod. 4 for 12. I also mentioned this in relation to the Sims. I'll talk more about it later, but we talked about there potentially being a key stat on Florida getting third down conversions. Ideally at least a 40% clip. We did not get that. We were 33.3, of course, 4 for 12, 1/3. And maybe more importantly, what do you think our average yards to go on third down was? I happen to find this stat. Randy, you got any idea on that one?
No, please.
7.
Yeah,
that's the correct response. We also had 3 of them that were 9+. 9+. You want to take a gander what we did on the 9+ ones as far as conversion went? Yeah, that'd be an over.
I don't know, 0? Yeah, okay,
that's a 0. Yeah, 0 for 3. And here's another fun one. We were only 3 for 6 on 3rd and 4 or less against a against a group of 5 school. Wow, that's very bad. Period. No two ways about it. That is bad. Last point, I already kind of made mention of it, but the inability for DJ to be able to throw deep due to the poor play design, right? Due to the lack of dynamic play design that puts more than 1 or possibly 2 receivers deep. And by the way, when you're in 12 personnel, you can't put more than 2 receivers deep because you only have 2 receivers on the field, just so we're clear. And it's not that I hate 12 personnel, but I hate it when it's being called 50% of the time. It's just way too much. When you're not able to throw deep and you take away the thing that your quarterback debatably does best of all. I don't even think it's that debatable, honestly. I think it is clearly the thing he does best of all. 95+ PFF grading on deep ball passes last season. Then you take away one of the best things that your offense can do. And oh, by the way, think what you want about Napier's offense. We talked about this in a previous pod. It is built on running the ball and vertical passing. I'll say that again. Vertical passing. That is one of the core concepts of this offense. Well, you can't do that if you don't have routes that can get open against coverage that is trying to stop that. Now, listen, if they're back there playing deep 4 cover quarters every snap, okay, fine. Then the middle of the field is going to be wide open for the picking. And you can do whatever you want, right? But that's not what teams are doing. Teams are playing a lot of cover 3 against us, a lot of matchup cover 3. That's what mostly we're seeing put out there. South Florida played a ton of it. I saw them in it all night, right? You see those corners back off, right? Run away because they're going deep. You got the single high safety on top of it, right? We saw a ton of it, right? And they're just taking away the deep stuff because they can with cover 3 because there's only 2 guys at most going deep. So it makes it very easy to do. Very rarely is he going to be able to find somebody down there that's open. Or if they are, he's going to have to try to put a perfect pass in between the corner and the safety, right? He's done that, actually. He did a couple times against Kentucky last year for some remarkable throws. But it's not easy. It's hard, right? And the more matchup they play, the harder that gets because then they're more in coverage as they're running down the field, and it's not as easy to slip those throws in there. So that's my take on the offense. As predicted, and we'll get into more complaining about why later in advisor throw, but as predicted, Napier, leaves us wanting so much more out of all the talent that we have on this team. And yeah, we're just left wanting, as a feeling that we're very accustomed to as Gator fans. So what do you got?
With that being said, no, I'd be as harsh as some of that is to hear. It is what happened, right? That
Yep.
is what we saw. That is what was witnessed. That was what Gator Nation saw, and it was very much cringeworthy, right? So
You ain't lying.
I'm gonna go through some basic things here. Nothing fancy in my chomp segment, because there wasn't a whole lot of chomp, quite
Yeah,
frankly.
there wasn't much fancy
Um,
on the field either, buddy.
right,
Oh,
pretty
except
much.
for the stupid trick play that of course didn't work. There was that.
Sure. Oh, Wildcat Trey, and then yeah, back up. And then, oh yeah, DJ. Oh yeah, he's a receiver. Nope, just kidding. He is a quarter. Oh, just no. Okay, we're just running him out of bounds for a 1 yard loss. Okay, great. So Lagway was 23 of 33 for 69% completion. Not terrible. Great. Whatever. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. 1 interception.
Well,
That
kind
should have
of.
been interception. That might not have been interception, but we're missing some cameras, but couldn't do the full review to confirm, but couldn't be overturned, whatever. 6.7 yards per completion. Jaden Baugh, 18 carries, 93 yards, 5.2 yards per carry with a long of 15. Jaden probably should have had about 22 to 24 carries in this game and about 120 yards at about
Preach.
5.8. Okay.
Preach.
We have this thing. We have this beast of a man back there ready. And don't give me the, well, Jaden gets 2 snaps and Jacoby Jack Cheese gets 2 and 2. No. No. Jaden Baugh can carry the ball 22, 24, 25 times a game. No, I'm not saying we need to do that, but in cases like these where this happens, he's built for it. He's
Yep.
built different.
You're
He's
right about
built
that.
very different. And especially when the mention that you just had be on 3rd and short, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Jaden Baugh. Calling your number, kid. Every time. Every time. Okay? DJ Lagway looked interesting. We have words like, oh, great, right? Serviceable, manageable. Here's what I'll throw in. Lost. I'm going to say lost.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got 3 examples, but we don't have 4 hours. I'm going to list one play in particular that I saw that actually is going to speak to a couple things that you just mentioned, B.
All right, let me hear it.
Okay. First play of the 3rd quarter. We're at our own 25. DJ drops back. Pump fake. Doesn't see anybody, theoretically. As VB3 is flashing across the where did you mention that? Oh, yeah, the middle. The middle.
Mm-hmm.
The middle. 11 yards in front of Lagway, and there's not a defender on him for 5 to 7 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Misses. Next up to release off of his block, Jack Cheese. Jacoby releases. He sees Lagway kind of scrambling. Okay, he releases. 7 yards in front of Lagway. His closest defender, 4 and change yards away after he releases off of his block. Lagway continues to hold the ball. Head's not up, though. Head's down. Jukes, turns, tucks, tries to make a move, steps back. Jacoby sees where he's at, knows what he needs to do. He goes into the backfield. Pitches right to Jacoby.
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby's got nowhere to go. There's already 3 defenders that have collapsed. Stumbles. Thank goodness we got forward progress. Tackle for loss, -1 yard. This type of play happened. The difference was VB3 was involved in another shallow cross. Trey was involved in the other shallow cross. It was there. It was there. It might have been the second read, but it was there. +8, +11, +9. Keep the ball moving in rhythm. Keep going. DJ does not look like DJ. He just doesn't. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Yeah, he's hyping guys up, and yeah, he says all the right things in the presser and all the, but on the field, you know what? That is not the same DJ of last year. People say, oh, a sophomore slump. Okay, sure. He was injured. He was out 7-8 months. Spring camp, then fall camp, then the calf, then the time. Yeah, we get that. But at the same time, look at what he did last year. Look at what he did last year late in the season at 75, 80% health.
Yeah, on a bum hammy. Yeah, exactly.
Okay? That's why, I'm sorry, folks, it does not compute for me.
Yeah, something's weird for sure.
There is something up. And if he, so I do believe him when he says my body's in good shape. I feel good. Okay, great. So what is it then? Are you afraid to get hit? Are you afraid to, because I'm telling you what, Byron Brown on the other side, whew, looks like how DJ looked last year.
Yep, agreed.
Especially before he got hurt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I say to that, hey, guess what? Still eating great value vanilla. And even worse, guess what? Now, after this game, it sat in the freezer so dadgum long, ton of frostbite on it. Oh, my word. Ton of frostbite. It's unbearable. Folks, we have, and B and I talked about it, the pods before the season started, the star quality, the talent, the depth at running back, the depth at wide receiver. Okay? J. Michael Sturdivant. I mean, Mizell got the ball a couple touches, but I mean, seriously. Eugene Wilson finally leads us in receiving, 7 receptions, 60 yards. VB3, 5 receptions, 56 yards. Hayden Hansen, 3 receptions, 40 yards. Jacoby Jackson, 2 receptions, 24 yards. Great. A long of 32, 24, 28, 26, as B mentioned. Yep. But seriously, all of that for what? You get into the red zone and you get into 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 2 and you forget what to do.
Or you call things that don't make sense, but yeah.
Or you call things that just plain out make 0 sense to what we're trying to accomplish. Why? Okay. Because your offensive coordinator is also thinking about this over here, and he's also thinking about that over there, and he's also thinking about being the head coach, and he's also thinking about personnel, and he's also thinking about the price of rice in China. I don't know. Sorry, I threw that in there. But to that end, Chomp segment's not looking too good. We are not
Yeah.
chomping, because I'll tell you what, with a group of 5 opponent and scoring 16 points in the swamp with DJ Lagway as our quarterback, I would have said no damn way. Sorry. I'm stopping it there, B.
Yeah. They're all fair points. I think the Lagway thing is curious for sure. Something's up there. I agree with you. I don't know if he's still hurt and they're just not saying it. I don't know if he's just really dealing with comfortability stuff, but something's weird there. Something's off. He just doesn't look the same. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Also, a quick side note, where's the RPO? Because there were like 2 RPOs in the whole game.
What
And they
RPO?
weren't even like good RPOs. Like, where's that? Because that should be,
Exactly.
I mean, that should be a part of the playbook here. That we got every reason to have that be a threat in this offense. We talked about it, like, and it was supposed to be from everything that we were being told and heard. Where's that? Because I have not seen it at all.
Oh,
So that's
you saw a
that's
lot of it.
crazy too.
Oh,
What?
B, it was on the field. It was on the, oh, wrong team. Sorry.
Well said. Well said. All right. So speaking of the other team, let's transition over to defense. Get us started. What we got for Gator bait?
Gator bait. Here we go. All right. So I tell you what, man, and you know what? We did not do this. We probably should do it, but USF, here you go. You get some flowers. You get some patchoulis and some daisies and some sunflowers. Came into the swamp, came into some hostile territory, and you did what you had to do. Okay. Byron Brown, 23 of 36, 263 yards, 7.3 yards reception, 1 touchdown, and a big 66-yard gain because of a coverage bust. We'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Byron Brown, 95.02 QB rating, 4.41 yards per carry. You know what? I tell you what, go back, because obviously hindsight's always 2020. But if you're to go back in this game and just predict a future for me and say, hey, the Gators held South Florida to 18 points in the swamp. Awesome. We at least scored 34, probably. Okay.
You would have thought so.
You would have thought so, right?
At least 30.
At least
20,
30.
28. 27, I don't know, something,
right? Folks, over the past 6 games, UF's allowed 11.67 points a game. Our defense has allowed 11.67 points per game. They've limited explosives to only 4 explosive plays. But unfortunately, a big one of those happened Saturday night. So, we all know about it by now. But at the end of the day, it's about 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Sheriff Denson, Dijon Johnson got caught up. Ball's up in the air. Gets to Singleton. Johnson and Denson fall down. Singleton goes in, 66-yard touchdown. It looks that easy, right? Let me replay it for you. Brown gets to the line, notices that we've got personnel coming off the field, and you've got half of our players looking to the sideline for the play. And USF is already lined up to snap the football. What?
Well, kinda. There's some debate there, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, you know what USF's MO is. You know that they're trying to run fast.
Yep,
and
for sure.
You never want to get caught. Never want to get caught up like that, especially the way that Denson and Johnson did. It just stinks that that's what had to do. You got that there. Okay, let me take you back to the second quarter. About under 15 seconds to go. It's 3rd and 8. Okay, Brown's scrambling. Jaden Woods gets to the backfield. Jaden Woods is about to bring him down, gets his paw on him, but Byron Brown is kind of a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Evades him, can't sack him, breaks 3 tackles, stumbles to inside the 10-yard line with 4 seconds to go. Easy field goal to end the half, give them a little bit of momentum. Okay? There's that. I'm going to take you to 2 minutes ago in the fourth quarter on their 39-yard line. Bubble pass to Isaac. Breaks 3 tackles to the UF 33 with 1:54 left to go. We know it happened before that, but at the end of the day, you're missing 3 tackles to set up a big gain in territory, and not to mention within field goal range with limited time left on the clock. For whatever reason, B, this defense, okay, we talked about it before, bend, don't break. They broke 3 different times on Saturday night. I thought it was interesting. The other thing is that you really can't fault 11.67 points a game over the past 6 games.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about Brendan Bett. The act was what the act was. Inexcusable. Leave that alone. But for whatever reason, B, I did not see the killer instinct in this defense when it mattered most. I did not see a defense that was willing to beat the brakes off guys, beat a block, get to the ball as quickly as possible. I saw a lot of missed tackles in that fourth quarter. Total of 11 missed tackles for the game, correct?
Supposedly, yeah, it's unofficial, but yeah.
Right, but I feel like almost half of them came in that fourth quarter, especially under 5 to go.
Yep, there were a bunch in the fourth for sure.
The positives, the defense held him to low points. You can't ask too much more than that.
Low points and low explosives from a team that's big on explosives.
Right? But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. And especially when you look at the silly mistakes, the silly flags, the silly penalties. And here's the thing. Let's say that we're able to score. Let's say we're able to get a field goal and go up, and we put it away, and we get a 1-point win. We get a 3-point win, a 4-point win. You know what? At the end of the day, it might not have been pretty, but 2-0 looks a whole lot better than 1-1 right now.
My man, well said. Well said.
Right? And at the end of the day, it's hard to blame the defense. I'm not going to put blame on the defense. Again, I just cited 3 specific plays, but again, I wanted that killer instinct at the end. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to leave it there for now, B.
Yeah, I do think the defense, I think is a great point there. The defense had a chance to put this game away at the end there, and they didn't. We've had to call on them before, and they answered the bell a lot last season, to your point.
Yeah.
They didn't answer the bell this game at the end. I think they answered it for most of the game, but they didn't answer it at the end. And that's a valid point. That's a valid point. It very much felt to me like that last drive, especially once the penalty obviously happened, of course, with that really atrocious stuff, unexcusable. And then obviously that big play that you mentioned, the screen, I called it my impact play on Saturday night. It seemed like they kind of threw the towel in there, honestly. And that's not something I'm accustomed to from this team at all. Not a great sign, really. But yeah, it really did not look great there in that last sequence of plays. So getting my overall thoughts, but it's a great point. It's a great point. Overall, I thought this continued to be pretty solid play from the defense. I'm not mad at the defense, to your point, right? Secondary coverage was solid, right? That was a question mark we had going into this game. What does pass coverage look like? I thought it was really good, honestly. I thought it was really good. Devin Moore looked outstanding. Dijon looked really good for most of the night. The linebackers look really good in coverage. I got no complaints, honestly. Secondary coverage is probably some of the best I've seen consistently, especially downfield, outside, of course, the one play where we got caught with our hands in our pants, whatever you want to call it, right? We were not ready. Again, Napier made a comment today, and I thought it was fair. Not defending Napier here, but I think it is a fair comment. He didn't even think their offensive line was set when they snapped that ball. He said they had guys standing up like they weren't set, and I think when you go back and watch that, there's a case to be made there, right? That line was not set. That line's supposed to be set for 1 second before they snap it. That didn't happen. No way. So very much a questionable call there in terms of that not being being in ready to play formation by the offense. So we weren't ready. That's on us. I'll take the blame because we shouldn't have been looking at the sideline for a call against a team like that. You have to know the call against a team like that, right? You don't have time to look at the sideline. We know how fast they play. To your point, it's a valid point. But except for that one, they really didn't get us. We really did a good job taking away what they showed to be their strength, both last year and last week in the explosive plays. We only allowed 2 passing plays over 20 yards. One was a coverage bust. One was a missed tackle. That you already talked about. Well, multiple missed tackles, but still, right? Sure. That's it. Those are the only 2 explosives over 20 in the passing game, in the whole game. That's it. Those 2. You talked about both of them. That's it. As you mentioned, though, missed tackles overall were an issue. 11 is not good. I mean, it's not the worst number. Again, I don't know if that's official, but anything over 10, it's not a great game. Again, especially against a inferior opponent. I'm sorry, this is an inferior opponent. Talent-wise, this is an inferior opponent. It's not disrespecting USF. The talent on the roster does not match the talent on our roster. Not close, quite frankly. I don't have the talent composites in front of me. I can pull them and I'll let you know. But it's not close.
Nope.
Surprising considering what I saw in the tackling in week 1. I thought the tackling in week 1 was excellent. It was not excellent on Saturday. It was not horrible, but it was not excellent for sure. Other positives I saw from the defense, though, still really good gap discipline. Still didn't overrush the quarterback, right? We hurried Brown 7 times. Only got the 1 sack because he's elusive and big and tough to bring down. So we missed on our sack number, but the hurries were there to get him. 7 hurries. That's a lot, right? Again, not many tackles for loss in this game. And 18 points is not bad to give up to an opponent that has a good offensive scheme and who executed well, which both things happened, right? They executed their game plan well. They're a good offensive team, right? In terms of their scheme, right? They don't always execute it great, but they did on Saturday. And you gave 18 points up. That's okay. Like, that is okay. That is not a bad number. You just have to expect that your offense can score 20 at home against a group of 5 defense. I mean, what are we even talking about? I'm not putting it on the D. I'm just not. Was it a perfect game? No. Could it have been better? Yes. I wouldn't call it subpar. It was probably, actually, I would have rated as above average, to be honest with you. Not great, but not bad. That's it. That's all I got. I'm not going to go any deeper than that. I'm not going to hate on them. I hope they continue to play well because they have played well, and I hope they keep doing it because we're going to need them, clearly, because this offense is a train wreck. So we're going to need all the defense we can get. So keep it going, D. Appreciate you. Doing good. Keep it up. That's where I'm at.
Fair enough.
On to visor throw. Here we go. Get ready. If you have a drink, take a sip because it's going to get fun. All right. Let's start with play calling and design, as per usual. This is a running theme on this pod for 3 years, if you've been listening. Here we go again. As I mentioned before, teams have focused on taking away the deep ball because they know it's what Lagway is good at. And they know it's how we can really hurt them. And again, it's very easy to do when you have 1 to 2 receivers running deep. I've already said this. I'm not going to belabor the point. But if you see that happening and you're an offensive coordinator, what would you think a good counterpunch might be? Maybe leaning into the run game with your outstanding running back? Seems like maybe a good idea. Did we do that? No, we did not. We still ran the ball, but we didn't lean into the run. We kept it a pretty even mix of pass and run. Head scratch? Yeah. And then, of course, there's the clock management that we always have issue with near the end of games. Now, I understand that the play call may have been an audible, that we may have had a run on, and that DJ may have audibled out of it. So maybe that's not on Napier. Maybe. I don't know. I can't know. I'm not in the headset. I don't know what's going on. The announcers called it out that he could do that. Heath, I think, said something in the press box about that he did it, so maybe he did. But ultimately, coach is responsible if he's not, overriding that or whatever else the case might be, or teaching him that in that particular circumstance, you've got to run the ball, even if it's into a loaded box. There are rarely times when I say run into a loaded box, but that is one of them, right? Because if you run it 3 times there and force them to use all their timeouts in the 2-minute warning, then it's a very different situation at the end of the game there, right? It's not the same clock situation that you're dealing with. So that's point number 1 is, of course, the poor clock management that we continue to deal with. So next up is I want to quote Billy Napier's presser from last night, or from Saturday night, excuse me. A reporter asked him, I don't know who, what were your thoughts on the play calling tonight offensively? Napier responds, I think there's a ton of missed opportunities in the game early. I think that we shot ourselves in the foot quite a bit. I think we played from behind the sticks. Penalties were a major issue. I think we probably were. We didn't get it done in the second half. We had 7 possessions and 6 punts. To me, when I think about it, I think about the second half. I think there are some opportunities to make some plays, but I also think we contribute to that as coaches. I'd like to watch the tape before I comment on that, but in general, I think it's a combination of both. That's how I would say it. So first of all, buddy, when you're calling the plays, we need to get by this we thing real quick. It ain't we when you're the one calling the plays. If you're going to own this thing and you're going to insist on keeping play calling and not hiring an offensive coordinator, it is you. It is I. There ain't no we. And I don't want to hear it anymore in a press conference. It is I, because you were the one doing it. So if there are opportunities that are missed because of play calling, which is what the question asked you, then I don't want to hear the word we come out of your mouth. Period. This is ridiculous. And this is the reason why I get into my next point, that Billy Napier needs to be fired. He has needed to have been fired since week 3 of last season. I got on this train then, and I stopped being on it when Scott Strickland said that they weren't going to fire him. And I said, okay, I'm not going to keep preaching it. If they've announced that they won't, fine, I'll shut up about it. And it was great to see the team do what they did to close out the season. That was terrific. It was fun for everybody involved if you're a Gator fan. But at the end of the day, this does not work. And he refuses to change. He refuses to hire an OC. Said in the press conference today that he is the one calling the plays, and he will not change that. Shocker, not. So ultimately, he needs to be gone. The sooner, the better. Today is fine. Tomorrow's great. Anytime will do, as long as it's soon. He needs to be gone. Period. This does not work. You are wasting the most talented roster Florida has seen in a long, long time. I know there'll be fallout. I know everybody will hit the transfer portal. I understand it will be a rebuild process. I do not care, because that is better than what we are dealing with now, than watching a team that has a sky-high potential play like a bunch of mediocre scrubs because they have no ability or capability to do any better because of the limitations that are being put on them by their play caller. I don't care if it's harsh. I don't care if you don't like it. It's the truth. That's my visor throw. What do you got?
First of all, I hear you. Secondly, I thought it was actually going to be worse. Good job with the composure.
Okay. I thought that was pretty bad, but all right.
I appreciate that there. No, don't get me wrong. Visor's very dirty. Very dirty. Terribly dirty. But yeah, you did a good job there composing yourself. Well done. Well done.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
First one I'll say is spot the ball.
Yeah. Nice.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently not.
That didn't age well.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Right?
No, it didn't.
You know, what else didn't age well? Oh, scared money don't make money.
There it is again.
I tell you what, he's got some great one-liners. The problem is your one-liners aren't good when they can be used against you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Spot the ball. Where are we spotting the ball exactly? Not NCAA 26, because it has a completely different take on this team.
Well said. Well said.
So I'll say it like that. Next up, you're a 17.5 point. Even Vegas is still like,
scratching their heads.
Sam Hill just happened.
Yeah.
Right? 17.5 point favorite. Now, granted, again, USF, you got Flowers. You came in. You gritty, tough, scrappy, did what you had to do. But 17.5 point favorite, over under, I want to say it was like 56.5.
Something like that.
And you played like it was what? Like the spread was 3? Seriously? A buddy of mine put it best. Uninspired football. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't say I disagree, right?
Yeah.
Next up, and this is one thing I never thought I'd have to say about this team, but I will say it now. Lack of discipline.
Yeah.
The penalties are one thing, and I tell you what, especially with what happened with Jalen Carter of the Eagles, former Bulldog, just saying. Bet you know better. I get it. High intensity, emotional. I get it. But guess what? You no longer are an asset. You're a liability to this team. And that's sad to say because you had a great showing in your first game as a Gator.
Yep.
Was what it was. Okay. Next up, egg on my face, B. I got egg on my face. I have egg on my face. Preseason picks. 9-3.
Well,
I
picked 8-4, so do I.
I feel like our good friend Jim Moore. Playoffs?
Yeah.
Playoffs?
Yeah.
9-3? Right here, I was thinking it's like LeBron in the announcement. Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Yeah,
right?
except you're counting losses.
Except I'm counting bingo. Right? Bingo. There's that. Last thing. No timeouts. No timeouts used until the second, because the first timeout was used earlier in the second half. Second timeout was used with 22 seconds on the clock. The last timeout was used with 18 seconds on the clock. 22 seconds, 18 seconds. Okay. USF had the football and started driving. Okay. With 2:22 left in the game. Let that sink in. 2:22. Didn't call a timeout until 22 seconds, 18 seconds on the clock. B, I like what you said about quoting him post-game. Let me quote him post-game. When was asked by a reporter about the clock management situation.
Yeah, and I heard this. I know where you're going to go, but go ahead.
Quote unquote, regardless of when the timeouts are called, it's going to end up about the same.
So I actually agree with him there.
I'll tell you what, I don't.
Okay, go ahead.
And here's why. It's 2:22. I realize some mayhem just happened, but at the end of the day, you can't call a 30-second timeout sooner. You can't try and group your defense, get them a breather sooner, and sub some guys out, get some fresh lungs in sooner.
Okay.
Right? We can't do anything to create an awareness of around, guys, we can't let them cross half field. We can't let them cross the midfield. Can't let them cross midfield. We can't get in a field goal range. We can't get in a field goal range. I need every fresh body available to rip his head off.
Okay. Point taken.
That shows what I mentioned about the defense finishing the game. No killer instinct.
I got you.
Folks, I remember there was a time where the old ball coach would say things like, well, we didn't run the score up, you didn't stop us. Okay? This man is so nice.
Yeah.
He just thinks, okay, well, we only got 2 timeouts. It's 2:22. They're going to do this, because, he's a good scripter, right? He can play things out in his head like that.
Yeah, that's true.
2:22 or 22 seconds. They're still going to end up kicking it.
Right.
And you mean to tell me you can't play into the psychology of that? You can't infect or impact how that remaining 2:22 is played by when and how you call the timeout and what you say to your defense? I'm sorry. B, I've long stood behind this guy. I understand people are hard on him. It's a tough job. It's a tough fan base. But at that point in time, I'm sorry, I have lost faith in Billy Napier. I'll say it. I haven't said it before. I'll say it.
No, you haven't. You have not. That's actually a huge statement. Okay.
Yeah, you want to spot the ball, Billy? How about this? Draw a line. Draw a
All
line.
right.
That's it for Visor Throw B.
So I love your take there. I love the psychological side of that. So I was thinking about it just purely from clock management, right? From clock management, I agree, right? The way he said it with them having a timeout, right? And if you stop it early and then they have to go quicker or whatever, like because they don't have one, it's different, right? Because they did, it's not the same. So like from a clock management standpoint, I think his take is actually totally valid, right? Because they screwed up earlier and didn't make them burn all of them, right? In terms of the drive they had before we punted, right?
Yeah.
With what we already talked about. Clock management wise, I agree with him. But your point is well taken, sir. And I think you're spot on. I think psychologically speaking, you're right. There's no killer instinct there. You're right. And I think that is absolutely true with him. He might be too nice. He might be too nice. In fact, I almost think he probably is. And I think that doesn't help him in a lot of situations in this game because you kind of got to have that at least between the lines, right? You don't have to have that outside, but you have to have that between the lines. You have to kind of be a jerk, and he's not. And I think that's actually a really well taken point. And a part of me's sad to hear you say that. Not because I think it's wrong. I think it's right. Obviously, been on that train for a while myself. But I think to your point, you have to draw a line somewhere, and I think it's good that we're drawing it, because it needs to happen. Now, obviously, for the record, none of this is going to happen. He's not going to be fired, at least not right now.
Right.
I don't know that he'll be fired this season, quite frankly. I think it depends on how this stretch goes of these next 4 games. We won't get into a big discussion about it right now, but I think just short version is I think it's unlikely that we win any of the next 4 games we have on our schedule, quite frankly. I think 1-5 is in play, but I don't know that 1-5 gets him fired, for the record. As crazy as that sounds. I think it can. I think 1-3 can get him fired. It all depends on how things look. If we're competitive, because these next 4, obviously, we play 3 top 10 teams in the next 3 games. That's wild. And 4 top 20 teams in the next 4 games. So if in that 4-game stretch or in the next 3-game stretch or in the next 2-game stretch, we get smoked out of the building multiple times, yeah, he's likely going to lose his job before the season's out. I would be shocked if he didn't at that point. But if we're close, if we're competitive, even if we lose them, if we lose close ones, right, that we had a shot to win at the end, I don't think he goes anywhere, even if we lose them all. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's smart, but I think it's what happens. So
yeah,
I'll leave it at that and we'll move on. Okay. Let's talk recruiting. Only notes I have here, really, we'll keep this brief tonight. There were several key recruits expected to attend this game, including top 50 player Caden Henderson, who is a teammate of a current Gator. I don't remember who now, apologies. But I can't imagine that losing to a group of 5 school helped his recruitment, nor did it with any of the other prospects who were in attendance. This class will crumble, like last year's did, and quickly if we do not turn this season around, and fast. And we're likely not going to. So just be prepared. That goodwill and that good stuff that we've seen on the recruiting trail, remember that all kind of built when we started winning at the end of last year. That'll flip real quick if we start going down the losing rabbit hole. We will lose recruits in a hurry, just like we did last year, except the difference will be we won't get them back unless we somehow start winning again. It's not always about that, but in year 4 of a coach with this much talent on the team, you better believe it is. And you know what? Fair. I don't even fault the guys. I would want to see that too. So that's all I got on recruiting. You got anything else?
Yeah, no, that was good. B actually had the same thing about Caden Henderson, and he's over there in Tampa in Jesuit over there with Will Griffin.
Ah,
So,
that's what it was. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate
yep.
that.
So there's that, and then no changes from last week, folks. Right regarding our rankings: 53% in state, 74% blue chip, 19 commits, no 5 stars yet. We're still ranked number 13 in the nation. And
Ain't,
another
go,
thing, B,
ain't gonna be none
um,
coming on that 5 star.
yeah, yeah, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. Caden Henderson did have a quote saying that he said again, this is him saying that the loss does not affect his recruiting at Florida because he sees the bigger picture. So obviously,
hope
words
that
are
hope that
words.
hope that's true.
Yeah, words are words. Kids take, kids flip, kids move, kids change their mind all the time. So
Yep, that's true.
to that end, yeah,
Yep, fair enough. All right. Well, I hope that's true because he'd be a nice get. He's a good player.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Culture, pride of the sunshine. A couple interesting things here. Obviously, you mentioned it already. We talked about it a little, the spitting incident.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about how good we felt the culture was on this team, how good we felt the players were from like a quality of person on this team. That makes me question a lot of that when I see something like that happen on the field. Obviously, it happened 2 years ago as well. If you're familiar with Jamari Lyons in the Florida State game 2 years ago, uh, it's not great to see that. Now, obviously, that was before the culture was really fully established, I think, back then. So it's a little different to see it now. Um, don't get me wrong, I get anybody can make a mistake, but that's a pretty big mistake. Um, he's also new to the program. So, you know, maybe he gets a little bit of a culture pass. He doesn't get a pass, but maybe he gets a little bit of culture pass. Like he doesn't know what it is yet. Um, he definitely does get a pass for what he does. Let me be very clear about that. That is completely unacceptable. I don't want to make that confusing in any way. But it's not good, right? It's not a good look for culture. It's not a good look for this team. It's not a good look for us as Gators. I don't like anything about it. And frankly, I hope he is suspended next week. Period. I know they're having him apologize to everybody and their mother, which is good. They should. But I want more than that. Frankly, I don't care if they kick him off the team. I'm going to be honest with you. That's how strongly I feel about that. It's completely unacceptable. It's just not what you do. I mean, we're not Jalen Carter in Georgia. We're not. End of conversation. Next thing, uh, interesting tweets with Jonathan Odom in response to, oh man, the receiver went out of my mind because I didn't write that one down. Who was he responding to? Help me out. Do you know?
Jacob Copeland.
Thank you, Copeland. Yes. Um, and tweeted that he had a concussion and that Napier asked if he was faking it when he still had symptoms after 2 weeks. I don't know what to make of this whole thing, man. This is pretty wild. Um, I'm not sure that I really believe that it happened the way that he said he did. We have a lot of players that are testifying basically or have been testifying prior to anything bad coming out how much they love playing for this guy, this staff, these coaches, this people, this environment. You've seen evidence on the sidelines, right? And so have I, but like of coaches interacting with players and how it's more positive and all this stuff. Like, I'm not saying he's lying, but I wonder if there's something being taken out of context here, if it's being a little misconstrued, right? I don't know. I don't know. But this doesn't match what we know about the culture piece of this program. I don't know if there's context missing, like I said. What don't we know here? Regardless, it's not good to hear. Um, I don't know. I'm pretty conflicted about it, to be honest with you. But it is definitely something that I would want to have a secondary source on, right? We don't just take something at face value. You'd like to verify stories like this. So I would like to hear somebody validate this, right? Give credence to it. And I'm not calling Jonathan Odom out, but I am a little concerned, but also questioning what's really going on here. So that's the thoughts I got on culture. For this one, thought there were some interesting things that came up in regards to this. Where are you at?
Yeah, yeah, a couple things. Um, Yeah, the Odom tweet was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely interesting. And that's the thing, right? Because we've heard a lot of players talk about Coach Napier and enjoy playing for him. He's a player's coach. He's even a better man, and he's preparing us for more than football. And okay, sure. Um, it's not like back in Urban's days, right? Whether you're eating steak or you're eating wieners, hot dogs.
Right.
That's it. So, um, here's my deal with Pride of the Sunshine right now. What's tough for me is hearing the banter, right? So there's gonna be outside noise, there's internal noise. There's a lot wrong right now with this program. I mean, you can't argue that. You can't argue the fact that a group 5 just came in USF, and again, we gave them their flowers. They came in and absolutely, I feel like in multiple areas of the game, beat us, outplayed, outcoached, outworked, especially when you look at some of the areas in which Isaacs, the running back, just took it to us and kept his feet going. And it's almost as if they just wanted it more. They wanted to prove a point. They wanted to just know that if they can get a win in the swamp, it's not the fact that they were undefeated against us. It was the fact that this was our best team that we put on the field. And they had a chance to deliver a massive upset in the swamp, not just what they did to Boise State the week before. And the bad thing about that is, even though I rewatched this game, I did not see the body language I normally see on the sideline. It was there, yeah, but not. It just wasn't there. It was there, but it wasn't. Not to the effect that I'm used to seeing it when the camera pans over to the sideline. There's
Hmm.
that. Second
That's
thing, huh?
interesting. No, it's just
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Of course, we didn't have all the camera angles because a few cameras were
Yeah.
out of commission because the weather.
We'll get there in a
Whatever.
minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. Um, Billy opens up the presser. Not
Yeah.
good. A direct quote. Not good enough. It's my responsibility. Yeah. 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 It's your responsibility. Period. Because you want to fall on your sword about being the play call. Yeah, you named Russ Callaway offensive coordinator in
Yeah.
name only. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. You're calling the plays. You believe that's what got you here. No, the organizational discipline is what got you here. Because that offense that you run might be successful in the Sun Belt, but not in the SEC.
My man.
Period. It's year 4. No more excuses.
Yep.
No more excuses. This was probably the if not one of the worst games that we've played from a discipline standpoint. I'm not even talking about what happened last year with Texas because Lagway was out. A bunch of people were out.
Yeah.
We were injury laden. Okay. It looked like we did the beginning of the season. And this is what has me worried because I look at Graham Mertz, the start of last year. We're going, hey, remember Graham Mertz 2.0? Graham
Yeah.
Mertz, second year in the offense. Graham Mertz is going to have this thing, right, by the jugular, and he's going to take it, and we're going to infuse DJ, and everything's going to be good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we said, oh, hey, DJ, sophomore year. He's got control. He knows, okay, he's been banged up, but he knows the offense. He knows his guys.
Mm-hmm. I see where you're going here.
You see, right? I didn't see that position on DJ's body language looked bad, flat out bad. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out bad. And Brendan Bett, you should be indefinitely suspended. I'm sorry. You might be a great asset on the field, but what you did on Saturday night, classless, tasteless, no place for it here in this program.
Yep.
I'll stop there.
No, it's well said on all points, and I really actually like your point about USF and how they kind of came in and seized the opportunity and everything else. Like, one of the things about a team having a great culture, right? Look at Saban's teams. And I
Yeah.
do not like Saban, for the record. One of the things that he was really, really good at, right, was getting his teams to play well, no matter who they were playing and no matter what kind of shot they were being given by those teams, right? He
Hmm.
got his teams to play up to the standard that they were capable of week in and week out. Didn't matter who was on the opposite sideline. Made no difference whether it was a huge opponent or an FCS school. Didn't matter. Bama played the same. I hate him. I really hate him. The
Yeah.
team, not Saban. I don't hate a person. Um, but he instilled that. And that's what a good culture looks like. And I really thought we were working towards that here. I thought we were getting there. I thought that's what we were seeing. Saturday night showed me it is not what we were seeing. And if he doesn't have that piece, if we were wrong about that, I really didn't think we were, but if we were wrong about that, poof, and he's got no legs to stand on. None. Not that I think he should have any anyway, but he's got none at all without that. All right, moving along. Officiating. Move back, you suck. And they sucked, as we like to say in this segment. Poorly officiated game, obviously. I think that goes without saying. Two we're going to call out. Well, two I'm going to call out. I'll leave it to Randy here to say what he wants to say here. For those that don't know, anybody new listening, Randy's a high school official, has a unique perspective for this segment. It's part of the reason we do it, but we also do it because we want to make sure that we include all aspects of the game. And obviously, officiating is an aspect of the game. We will call out whether we see bad calls for or against Florida. This is not a segment of only bad calls against Florida. I want to make sure that I delineate that here before we start. So there's only two that I'm going to pick on here. One is obviously the interception you made issue of earlier. Review was definitely limited on this because of the camera situation. So for those that don't know, there was some weather in the area that apparently affected some cameras and caused some of the replay cameras, or the review cameras, to actually have to be removed from the field. Still don't know the particulars on that as to why they had to be removed, but they did. And that was still going on when the interception happened. And we saw on TV, at least, the replay angles that we were given exposure to were not great. Now, there were shots given after the game that made it blatantly obvious that this ball was not an interception. It hit the ground. It was not caught. However, I'm not sure if the officials were able to see that or not. We don't know. For those that don't know, you don't always see all the replay angles that the officials see when you're watching replays on TV. The officials, both locally and in the review center. Where is the review center for the SEC, Randy? I don't even know. Is it in Birmingham? I don't know where
I
they
believe
fall that
Birmingham out.
into.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So there is also a remote replay booth that looks at these as well while games are going on. When they do a review and they look at them comparatively, you don't necessarily see all of the angles that they see on TV. They give you the TV camera angles, but you don't necessarily see every replay review. So I don't know what all they saw, what all they didn't see. I'm not aware. We're not aware, for the record. However, the fact that a photojournalist was able to capture this clear as day doesn't bode very well that they weren't able to get the call right on the field when it was blatantly obvious that this ball was on the ground and his arms weren't even on it at all. Not a great look, clearly the wrong call. However, I will say that I don't know what happened with those cameras, so perhaps they were limited in what they were able to see. I don't know. But it's worth, calling out. The next one I'm going to call out is one Napier called out, and I think rightfully so, and they sent it to the league for review, and they should have. And it is the offensive pass interference call on Hayden Hansen that brought back the TD for Livingston, that obviously would have been the difference in the game. Simply put, this wasn't offensive pass interference by any definition that I'm aware of, or how I am aware of the rule, and I'll defer to Randy on this, but ultimately Hansen went out, ran a route. It did not pick the defender, pick being like in basketball where you set a pick, right? There was no rub, there was no pick that offset Livingston's coverage. That didn't happen. And the call was based on him putting his hands on the receiver. And I guess they were saying he blocked him prior to the ball getting there. Now, first of all, any contact that was made was about a half second before the ball got there, which did happen. But this was not a block. He simply like put his hands on the receiver or on the defender, excuse me, and like outreach them, which happens all the time in route running. Like you see it constantly. It was not like he put the guy on the ground or pushed him down. I mean, he just touched him. I thought it was a ridiculous call. I don't know what they were looking at personally, but that's all I got. I'll defer over to you. I'd love to get your thoughts on that one and any others you'd like to discuss. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm going to go in reverse here, starting with your last as my first.
All right.
That OPI on Hansen is absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
Absolutely ridiculous as far as having anything to do with the play. As far as, here's the other thing too. It's almost as if I think that's a great example when you talk about basketball, setting a pick and a guy goes flat on the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
Hayden had his hands on the guy, but that was it. Like just to body him up. Nothing more, a whole lot less. And that's what was called. It did not affect the outcome of the play, the result of the play, nothing. Nothing. And leave it up to Steve Marlowe, SEC official, and his goonies to call another poor game. It's unreal. The second one I think you had was the interception replay.
Yeah.
How is that even possible? Again, it always befuddles me. And don't get me wrong, folks. In high school football, we don't have replay. We got 5 on the field. In playoffs, we've got 7 on the field. We do the best we can. It is bang, bang. We do have a code on our crew when we're during a game. If someone sees something, we throw a flag. Remember, you can always pick up a flag once you discuss it with your crew. Okay? That interception, I want to say, what was it? A Canon EOS Rebel with a telephoto lens? How does that catch it from the 30-yard line?
Yeah, I don't know.
No pun intended, because it wasn't caught. Seriously, you see the ball.
Nice.
You see the ball and the grass, and you see his arms around the ball, not under the ball. But again, irrefutable evidence, can't be overturned. The ruling on the field stands. It's crazy to me that you have those sets of eyes on the field. Then you have the sets of eyes that are in the stadium. Then you have the sets of eyes that are in Alabama. Why have it anyways? I'm just curious. If we're not going to get it right, why have it? Why have 3 layers? Why bother? Why have zebras if we cannot go and hold them accountable to what they just called? There's a lot. We get it. It's flesh. It's human eyes that we see things with. It's bang, bang. No problem. Understand it. Do we need to put more officials on the field? Because I'll tell you what, I know our crew, when we do a high school game, we operate a lot better with 7 than we do with 5.
Right.
Our keys are different. Our zones are different. But seriously, guys, come on. And then what was the first one, B?
Oh, that was the only 2 I had.
Okay, then that's it. Yeah. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, you really can. It's tough to complain about certain things, but it's really tough when you go the week prior and you've got none. You have 0 penalties, and you're like, "This is great. Oh, good discipline. Oh, good this." And for the record, the crew last week, hodgepodge of a crew, right? We had Conference USA, we had ACC, we had Sun Belt, we had SEC. This was an all SEC crew, I believe.
Yeah, and really interesting. We talked about that in the stands last week too when we were there.
Yeah,
interesting that the hodgepodge crew seemed to call an excellent game, right? And it's not because we didn't have penalties. We went back, we looked at it. Like we discussed there was one that could have been called on us that maybe should have been called on us. But beside from that, we couldn't really find much that wasn't flagged that should have been on either side. Like, it looked good. This week, we find multiple. Again, some of the holding calls. Yeah, they were holds by letters of the law, but if they didn't have anything to do with actually affecting the play, why are we calling that? Like, if it's not impacting the play, why are we flagging it? Like, there's holding on every play, right? We that's the common expression.
Pretty much.
So why are we flagging something that's not going to affect the play? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So, like, you're telling me the hodgepodge crew of a bunch of guys that don't, call in the same conference, like, it doesn't send a good message to me when you see a crew that does a great job, at least to our eye test, and again, your eye test, who is an official, like, and then we go the next week and it's an SEC crew and they look like crap. Like, that doesn't send a good message about what's going on with SEC officials. And we've had this problem before, quite frankly. Now, there are some SEC crews out there that are good. We've experienced those. We've seen those, and we don't complain about those. But there's some other SEC crews that are not good. So we'll see what happens as the season goes along. But this continues to be a frustrating piece for both of us. It's difficult at times for sure because it does impact the game. Now, should this have mattered? I think this is important to call out. Should it have mattered that this happened? No.
No.
We play better. This doesn't matter. Period. So I'm not faulting the officials. I'm not saying they lost us the game. We understand human error is a thing. Was it more than it should have been? Yeah, we think so. And we evaluate that because we think it's important. But we are not saying that they stole the game from us, that we should have won if they had called it better. Whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter, because in this game, we cost ourselves this game. Let me be very clear.
Yep.
Very clear. We are not putting this on the officials.
No.
I want to make sure that's stated. All right. Moving along.
Well said. And the last thing, the only one thing I'll mention is, only one thing. There was a flag on Dijon Johnson. Okay.
Oh, on for the pass interference? 10. Oh, yeah, that was questionable too. Good call.
With 2:22 left in the game. Now, Dijon Johnson was on Singleton like white on rice in a paper plate in a snowstorm. He was on him, all covered up. Hand came in, batted the ball. Was that grounds for PI? I'm sorry. If you're going to call that, you've got to call the play that Mizell was covered up on in the second quarter.
Well said.
Mizell was blanketed the same way, no call.
Well, I would argue Mizell's was way worse because the guy was hanging on his back. With Dijon, he was behind him, right, and he reached over him, but he didn't turn him, right? He didn't do it, and he wasn't actually like on top of him. That guy was hanging on top of Mizell. Like, they were not the same, and yet one is flagged and the other is not. To me, one is way more blatant than the other. Like, I mean, they're both potentially fouls, to your point, but like, you're right on. If you're calling one, you absolutely have to call the other, and when you didn't call the first one, you cannot call the second. You can't.
And that was both, I think, coming from the side judge. That was his call on both of those plays, very similar. So we finished with 11 penalties, 103 yards.
Yeah.
I felt, honest to goodness, in my heart of hearts, calling that game, I felt like it should have been closer to seven or 8 for about 85 yards.
Yeah, and that's not even counting in the holdings that were debatable as to whether or not they affected the play. Because again, the holds were holds, but where they needed to be called in terms of effect on the play. So we'll move on. Let's wrap this thing up. Let's talk about where we go from here.
Yeah.
Why don't you run this down first for us?
All right. So Billy Napier is at 500, folks. Let that sink in. 20 for 20.
It's a Barbara Walters special.
Ooh, Barbara, take the report back. Forget Barbara. Let's get Hugh Downs in here. Rest his soul and hers. Culture. What B? It's year 4. It's no more we're almost there. It's no more we've got things to fix. It's no more we think we have the right people. It's no more that no. This should not be happening. This is the last thing we should be talking about in game 2 of this season. 17.5-point favorites. And came away with a loss in the Swamp. Will lightning strike twice? What do I mean by that? Well, last year, you remember, wins against Ole Miss, LSU. But guess what? We're about to hit an amazing, and not in a good way, a gauntlet. Okay? LSU in Death Valley, Miami, Texas, Texas A&M. Oh, and by the way, guess what? After that, a layup game is Mississippi State. What did Mississippi State do this past weekend? How did they look, B?
They beat
Oh,
the 12th ranked team in the country.
Jeff Libby's got some things going. Jeff Libby got himself more cowbell. So, folks, get this. At LSU, at Miami, Texas comes to the Swamp. Welcome, Arch. At A&M, 12th man, Towels, ROTC, Havoc. Mississippi State, they're coming to the Swamp. Then Georgia, neutral site, whatever. Then Kentucky, semi-layup, whatever. At Kentucky, Kroger Field. The Stoops will be there in attendance. Then Ole Miss. Then Tennessee at Ole Miss. Tennessee at the Swamp, and then Florida State, who all of a sudden can put up almost 80 points a game, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Folks, to say the phrase "it doesn't get any easier" is an understatement. Yeah. Is an absolute understatement. Can lightning strike twice? I know this is Florida. There's a lot of friggin' lightning in Florida. I don't think so. Remember when Strickland backed Napier, especially after the debacle in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
One of the stipulations was hiring an OC. And I'm going to cite here Andy Staples, alum and UF insider. But guess what? No OC hired. Finished out the season. An amazing run. These players banded together around Lagway, around each other. They played for each other. They played for Napier, which I've never seen anything like that happen to salvage a season.
Four and 5 team finishes 7-5, and then 8-5 with the bowl. Just goes on a remarkable run, beat multiple ranked teams. It was incredible.
Remarkable. What happens now? Because this is game 2, and guess what? You're 1-1 for 2 years in a row. Yeah.
No, 3 years in a row, sir.
My apologies. 3. Yes, 3. 3. You're correct. Thank you for that. 3 years in a row.
Yep.
Really? It's the same old. Right? Next thing. Notre Dame. I'm going to bring up Notre Dame for a reason. We know Ohio State won the title last year, but guess what? Notre Dame lost in the championship game. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois last year. People were calling for Marcus Freeman. They were calling up Notre Dame overrated. Riley Leonard should have stayed at Duke. No way that they're going to be a CFP contender, much less a national championship contender. Here's the biggest difference between Notre Dame of 24 and the Gators of 25. Notre Dame had an easier schedule to work out the kinks, to fix it. Guess what? That schedule I just read off, at what point in time there are we going to work and tweak and move and fix and turn and adjust? Can't do it. You got to do it between Sunday and Thursday. And you got to do it fast. And whatever you got to do, you got to drink that juice. To get yourself locked in, do it. Put up or shut up. It's year 4.
You're not
it's
wrong.
Go time. It's go time.
Spot the ball.
Spot the damn ball, right? What are we talking about here, folks?
If you're gonna say it, it's time to do it. And by the way, it's actually year 4 of 1-1. I just went back and checked.
Thank you for the cross reference, B. I appreciate the reference.
Absolutely.
4 straight years of 1-1. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? I believe the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different result. Are we going insane? Because we're not entertained.
Kind of feels like it.
Bingo. So where do we go from here, B? There needs to be a quick fix, ASAP. Bootstraps need to be pulled up, tightened. We need to go into battle. We need to go into war. We need to scrap. And those players, forget the coaches for a second. Those players need to play for pride, need to play for each other. That's what got them out of last year. That's what they're going to need to draw on to make it through the next 6 games.
Yeah, it's well said and beyond, really, because the back end of the schedule doesn't look as easy as it did to start the year. Not that it looked easy, but it's looking a lot harder now.
Yeah.
So I'll draw your attention to something that happened last season, and it's been brought up on a couple different message boards I've seen or Facebook or whatever. Notre Dame, they lost to NIU, that's Northern Illinois, week 2, and then they ran the table for the rest of the season, and obviously went to the national championship game. That's not happening here. Let me be very clear. However, I think the point is that you can lose a team or lose a game, to a team that you shouldn't, and you can use it as a galvanizing point and rally. We did that last year, not necessarily around losing to a certain team, but we were able to galvanize at the end of the year and rally, right? Is that possible here? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. But the possibility, I suppose, exists. We did see some positives the week, right? I do like what I'm seeing from the defense, and defense does win championships. Again, not this year, but it does win championships in general. So it does give us something to build off if that defense continues to play well. And I do see elements of things that could be building blocks for the offense if they're able to do things better in certain situations. But again, you have a huge handicap with Napier being your play caller. You just did. Been saying it for almost a full calendar year now. Well, really beyond that, but definitively for a full calendar year. Having said all of that stuff to try to put some kind of positive spin on this, I think that's incredibly unlikely. I think this is almost certainly going to be a very poor season, despite the talent on this team, despite how that shouldn't be the case. I think we'll get a win or two we don't expect, maybe, right? Like Texas looks kind of beatable to me right now, watching their first 2 weeks. It's not just Ohio State. I didn't think they looked that good last week at all, or this week, I guess I should say at all. Arch is still not anything to write home about, quite frankly, if you watch the film on him. I think there's opportunity there, and their defense is not the world beater that I thought they were. They are better on paper than they look on film so far, much like us. Not as dramatically, but but they are. So there's an opportunity there. Not saying we'll win the game, but like that's one of those ones where like I'm not going to be floored if we win it, right? But like there are always opportunities within the schedule where things kind of open up in ways you don't expect. Could we get a win or two we don't expect? Yeah, for sure. Is this team going 9-3? No, it's not. I don't think it's going 8-4 like I predicted. I'm not sure it's going 7-5, quite frankly, after what I saw this weekend. We're going to have to see some dramatic change for that to happen, and we're going to have to see it real quick, to Randy's point, because the next 4 are the gauntlet of the season, as we have already discussed. So I'll leave it there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping we don't get run out of Death Valley this weekend, and we at least make it competitive. That's my only goal. So to that end, let's talk some keep it or pitch it. Go through last week's results first. I went 1-2. Randy with a smooth 3-0 and takes the lead on the season, 4-2 to my 3-3. Very nicely done, sir. You called that one. Yeah, man. 3-0 is nice. We can get me 3-0s and keep it or pitch it. That's a nice week. So just to recap, we said that UF will hold USF to at or below 35% conversion on third down, keeping with a top 30 defense from last year's numbers. We were like 38%. We kept them to 38 and change, something like that. We both pitched that. We said it would be close, but we pitched it. We were both right there. That was the one we both got right. And then I started with my misses. The UF defense will rush Byron Brown effectively on Saturday night and accumulate at least 3 sacks. Kudos to you for realizing he would be as tough to bring down as he was. We could have gotten 3 sacks in this game, but we didn't. I kept it, you pitched it, and you were right. And then lastly, the Gators offense will rush for at least 171 yards against the Bulls defense this weekend. We should have, had we done this, we might have won. We could have We didn't choose to with the play calling. I kept it, you pitched it, and of course we rushed for, I believe, 133, I believe is the number, something like that. It was in that neighborhood. Don't
Yes,
quote me
sir.
on
That's
it.
it.
Okay,
133.
it's going from memory. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah.
So to that end, that's my 1-2. That's your 3-0. Well done, well done. So again, 3-3 and 4-2 on the season. Nicely done. Good, quick early comeback for you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to this week's picks. So first up, UF is currently converting third downs at 44%. That's only because of the LAU game. And this season, and LSU, excuse me, is only allowing 23.1% conversion on the same. Pretty big discrepancy there. UF will make the most of their opportunities on Saturday in Death Valley at night. So we're not stretching this too much, and convert at least 35%, the same number we had for USF last week. 35% of their third downs. So will we convert at least 35% of our third downs this weekend? Keep it or pitch it.
Tough number, B. I don't know what to think about it. I think we're going to be somewhere around 30 to 33, so I'm going to pitch.
I am with you. I am pitching as well. I agree it's going to be close here. We could go over this. It's a tough number, honestly. I think it's possible we go over, but I'm going to go just under as well. I'm with you there. I think it's probably right around what we had this week, probably in that low 30s range. All right, Next up. Both LSU and Florida's defenses have been stingy this season in allowing points to be scored on them, each holding opponents to under 10 points on average so far this year. As we mentioned, they've been quite good. Both of them have been, though. The Gators will continue to not allow frequent scoring opportunities and hold LSU at home to 24 points or less. Keep it or pitch it.
Yeah, so I look at last year's game. Obviously, it means nothing because it's here in the swamp and it's different. So I look at what we tried to do there. I like what we tried to do a couple other times, and I've really gone back and forth on this number, and I am going to pitch it.
I am as well. I'm with you there.
Oh, okay.
I think it's really close here. I think this could end up being accurate. I don't think we give up more than, say, 27. If we had a set 27, I'd have taken it. But I think we're right around that number. We'll see if that's correct. We don't typically do score predictions, but like if I was going to give one, I would probably put LSU at 27, and I think we're probably like 21 to 24, something in that neighborhood, if I were going to do a score prediction. Again, we don't typically do that, but there you go. All right, Florida currently ranks 17th in time of possession at 34 minutes and 20 seconds per game. The Gators will continue to perform well in this measure and possess the ball for more than half of the game. Keep it or Marco.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, LSU is averaging highest time of possession in the country. Well, second highest behind West Point, right? So West Point's up there with 38. LSU's number 2 at 37. We're averaging 34 and change. We're on the road. I'm sure there's going to be some designed runs in there. So therefore, on that basis, I'm going to keep this one.
Interesting. Okay, I'm going to pitch this one as well, or Marco this one as well. You didn't laugh nearly hard enough at the Marco. I was waiting on that. I saved it for the last one, and I did not get near enough laugh on Keep It or Marco.
Because
I hope you're getting the reference.
Yes, I'm getting it because I was like, you caught me off guard with it, but at the same hand too, I was like, did he really? Did he
yes,
really?
I did. For those not familiar, this is the LSU reference from 2020 when Marco Wilson threw the shoe against LSU and cost us the game. So keep it or Marco. All right. I am Marcoing it. Randy is keeping it. There you go. All right. There's the picks. They're in.
Well at all.
No, it did not. No, it did not. I figured it was been long enough. We finally beat LSU last year, so I figured I could say it right, because we hadn't beat them since, the shoe throw since LSU. So this is the only one we differ on. So we'll see how it goes. Somebody's going to end up gaining a ground somewhere. So, all right, let's talk about some Sims. So the Sims have been incredibly unreliable in outcome predictions so far this year. They were incredibly reliable last year, interestingly enough. We didn't know that going in, but they ended up predicting 12 of 13 games accurately last year for Florida. Crazy, right? Wish I had known that going in. Maybe would have, done something beforehand. However,
Yeah.
they have been unreliable this year. They predicted us 10-0, so no chance to lose against USF. There you go. That's all you need to know, right? 10-0. Yeah, that didn't happen, obviously. So super interesting what's going on there. They predicted us 9-1 at LSU at night in Death Valley. Don't ask me why. And I've run this game in particular previously in this, going back to when the game first came out and running all kinds of different variables and everything else. I've probably run this game 100 times, and I would tell you we've come out as 80% winners in it, all at LSU at night. Don't ask me why. Something about the game and this matchup, it likes us in this matchup. I would not take that worth anything. Do not make that bet. I'm just going to tell you right now, do not make that bet, everybody. But because, again, it's been historically unreliable so far this year. Reliable last year, not reliable this year. So, however, what has been interesting, as I mentioned before, is the key to the game stat, if you will, that we've come up with from this, which is why we do this. We don't do this to predict the outcome, because I know it's not a reliable thing, or we don't anticipate it to be a reliable thing, I guess is what I would say. We do this to find a key stat that we can look at, right? Well, what we found from this game was, interestingly enough, time of possession. And in all 9 wins, we possessed the ball more than half the game. In the one loss, we did not. So if Randy's right, and we do possess it for more than half the game, it'll be interesting to see if we end up winning. Because according to NCAA 26, at least, that would be the deciding factor. So be interesting to see if that comes true. Again, as I mentioned last week, we needed to, again, even though we won all 10, all the close games we had with USF, we did not convert at least 40% of our third downs. As we well know, that didn't happen. And then, of course, we had a very close game, but of course lost. So while it didn't predict the outcome right, that key stat of the game was very accurate in predicting a close game. Very interesting. So that piece of it has been pretty on point, I would say. So having said all of that, time of possession is going to be your key indicator, at least according to NCAA. We'll see if that's true. I don't know if it is. It's fun to watch. We do this just for fun. It's just a neat thing to look at and another vantage point to kind of look at for the game. So that's why we do it. We don't take it seriously. I don't want to come off like we do, but it's just something that we like to look at and something that I put in. And I run all kinds of numbers on this and look at offense and defense and yards allowed, points allowed, all that stuff. This was the one that kind of came out as being the key indicator. So we'll take a look at that, see if it comes true. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but we'll find out. So with that, I think we're ready to wrap this thing up. It's a pleasure to bring this. Really appreciate. We've had a lot of support and response to the pod lately. Can't say thank you enough for that. Do want to put out there that if you've enjoyed this and you've liked the content, please do like it on whatever platform you're listening to it on. If you would like to hear more of it, please subscribe. Really appreciate that. It does do good things for the algorithm, so we do really appreciate it. And yeah, I just say thank you from there and turn it over to Randy to sign us off.
Yeah, man. Look forward to it. Of course, as you know, next game, LSU this Saturday, Death Valley, creepy. I get the chills just thinking about it. We're gonna do our rapid reaction of that after the game, and then of course Monday the 15th, our breakdown and analysis of the game at LSU. So don't forget about that. And wherever you are, whenever you may be listening, thank you for taking the time, and we will see you around, Gator Nation.